We've all been there, right? You have this brilliant, perfect strategy on paper, and then it just completely falls apart in the real world. So what's the deal? Where's the disconnect? Today, we're going to break down a real-world project plan to find that secret ingredient that turns these huge ideas into actual, concrete action. It's a tool so effective, it can make even a massive cross-country move feel totally manageable.
This is the classic question, isn't it? It's that huge gap between thinking about something and actually doing it. How do you build that bridge? Well, we're going to see exactly how one family did it, and spoiler alert, it wasn't with wishful thinking, it was with a crazy detailed plan. And their journey, believe me, holds a powerful lesson for pretty much any project you might be tackling.
All right, so here's our game plan. We're going to start with this massive project, then zoom way in on one single critical task. We'll look at the playbook they created to solve it, and then we'll zoom back out to see what the big lesson is for all of us.
Okay, first up, let's get that 30,000-foot view. We're looking at the master strategy for something they called Project Henseler Homecoming. This is the big picture.
So, the mission is crystal clear. Move the family cross-country. The why behind it is super personal, getting closer to family. But the real kicker here is that hard deadline. This isn't some vague, oh, we'll get to it someday dream. Nope. This is a project with a finish line you absolutely cannot move, and that just ramps up all the pressure and complexity.
And right here, this is where we see a super important lesson in any kind of strategy. You have to be willing to adapt. The first plan had these non-negotiables, right? But the family was smart enough to realize that real success meant hitting the main goal, the move itself, even if they had to let go of some of the secondary nice-to-haves. It's a classic case of not letting perfect become the enemy of done.
But you know how it goes. Every big, grand strategy eventually smacks into a roadblock. So now we're zooming in from that 30,000-foot view to the one massive hurdle on the ground that could have derailed this entire project.
And this is a problem I think a lot of us can relate to. That big, exciting dream of moving to a new place can't actually happen until you deal with the physical reality of all the stuff in your current one. For Project Homecoming, this wasn't just some small chore. It was a critical step that the entire timeline depended on.
And to conquer this challenge, they created a simple, brilliant, and totally unbreakable rule. This wasn't just a friendly suggestion. This was the guiding mantra for the whole operation. And, its power is in its simplicity. It just completely eliminates any debate or emotional second-guessing. It forces you to keep moving forward no matter what.
So how do you enforce a rule like that? Well, you create a playbook, and this gets us to the tactical heart of the project, the Great Garage Purge Runbook. This was a super detailed guide designed specifically so their daughter Ava could run the entire show on Friday and Saturday, March 20th and 21st.
I mean, just look at the level of detail here. This is not have a garage sale. This is a strategic plan. Grouping items by price, that saves a ton of time. And the bottom dollar meaning, that empowers the person running the sale, Ava in this case, to make fast decisions without having to call for backup every 5 minutes. This is the kind of planning that prevents total chaos.
And this is just brilliant. It really shows you the tactical thinking here. A generic garage sale sign? Yeah, that might get you a few neighbors. But posting pictures of the good stuff, like tools or furniture on Facebook Marketplace, that attracts serious buyers who are already looking for exactly what you're selling. It's basically targeted marketing for your driveway.
Okay, the prep work is done, the ads are out there, now the plan shifts to game day. This is the playbook for actually running the sale itself.
Again, notice the detail. It's not just about tossing stuff on a table, it's about merchandising, staging the driveway like a store. And the negotiation part is explicitly tied back to the master plan. The goal is to purge. Every single item that sells, even for cheap, is a win for the bigger mission. The plan even includes being a good neighbor and taking your signs down. It thinks of everything.
It's these little details that make a plan actually work. Specifying a cash float of up to $100, that removes any guesswork. It's a solid, actionable piece of info that stops a really common problem in its tracks, not being able to make change for that very first customer.
Okay, this is what I call next-level planning. It goes way beyond just logistics and starts thinking about the human element. Creating a positive vibe with music actually makes people feel more comfortable and encourages them to hang out and browse longer. And the security tip? So simple, but so crucial for protecting the day's earnings.
So, let's zoom back out. We've seen the big picture plan and the nitty-gritty execution of one super important task. So what's the big takeaway here that applies to
well, pretty much any project.
This is it. This is the core lesson. The high-level strategy for Project Homecoming pointed them in the right direction. But it was the detailed Garage Purge Runbook that was the engine that got them there. And its real power wasn't just in the step-by-step instructions. It was in empowering someone else, Ava, to take total ownership and get the job done flawlessly.
So let's actually put a name to this tool. It's a runbook. It is the missing link that so many projects need. It's the document that translates the what and the why of a strategy into the how of a task that you can literally hand off to someone to complete.
And that's the question I want you to take with you. Think about your own big goals. Where's that critical gap between your grand plan and the real-world action? Find that gap, build a runbook for it, and you might just unlock the whole thing.